What's going on, guys? Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Previously On. We're going to have a fun show tonight. We got a special guest joining us later that is going to be talking about a movie that's not out yet.
Not even just a movie. I think it's the coming of movies.
Right. Several movies, exactly. a whole movie universe, potentially.
I'm interested to hear his take,
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a good one. Yeah. And of course, we've got some spoilers for, said movie that's going to be coming out. One of the Kingpins got to go see it, and we're going to get to discuss it.
Yeah.
So, of course, we got that. Woo. And as always, new comic book day and some other various comic news that we got going on. So we appreciate everybody jumping in with us. And we're going to go ahead and jump in and start saying hello to the chat. And the first comment I see here today is Mr. Baker.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too.
Hear about Warlock, not expecting good news. I don't know. I actually have refrained from hearing or seeing any of the spoilers as of yet. So I still don't know what happens in the movie for the most part. I'm gonna be finding out about it today, along with everyone else. So
lies.
Right.
Yeah,
nerdy. What's going on?
You sit on the throne of lies.
Right.
Yeah, what's going on, Travis?
Archo, how you doing?
Archo.
We all know it was you that went to go watch the film.
All right, I know. Speaking of, there he is, Mr. Dan De La Torre, who will be joining us later to be talking all things James Gunn, DC. What are we calling it now? The DCU? Just the DC Universe? Is that it? The official name?
Yeah.
DC
Gunverse.
DCU, yeah.
The Gunverse. I like it. The Gunverse.
The Gunverse. Ooh.
Okay. Differentiate it from the.
Yeah, because the last DCU was pretty bad, so we should make a new name for the new one.
Yeah, just name it. New logo, new everything.
Is it really new if it's still attached to the old one, though?
But is it really new if it's another Batman and Superman title?
Oh, it's definitely gonna be another Batman.
It's definitely not new. Let me tell you.
We're trying to put it out of the memory of banks. Okay, you know what?
So, yeah, that's why I like your Gunverse is a good one.
Yeah.
Wow, actually, yeah, you are correct, Mr. Baker. It is the Rolly Fog lineup. Unintentionally, we didn't even realize it, but yeah.
And it's probably the books we talked about 3 weeks ago that are making up on this list.
Yeah,
it actually is.
Everything comes full circle.
It has, man, and this is why I love it. You don't catch, the Royally Fuck show. You can catch it here on New Comic Book Day.
Well, we know Hyper hasn't watched the FLC show, so
he says he doesn't, man. Wait, I don't know if I fully believe that. He says he doesn't watch the Saturday show, and he doesn't pick up New Comic Book Days. But then he's got all these books pre-ordered and ready to go.
I know, right?
We've mentioned, so I think he's sneaking a peek every once in a while.
The thing you should know about Hyper is 90% of the stuff he says is bullshit. There you go. That's a hot take. There's no spoiler for that.
Dan De La Torre is talking that.
Yeah, he's got the fighting words going.
Anyway, he's got to change his name to AWOL if he doesn't show up. I like it.
There's fighting words.
That's funny. I feel like AOL will be by at some point for sure. He's been looking forward to talking some James Gunn too. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump right into it. We'll go ahead and start off with the New Comic Book Day stuff.
Before we hop into that, I just want to quickly mention I had the pleasure of hopping on Raging YouTube channel this past Sunday. So yesterday, actually, he does a show every Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, I was on there. We got to hang out, chop it up, show off what I picked up recently. Just kind of geek out and get to know each other better. So I just want to say thank you, JD, for that. And man, doors always open. Come swing by and hang out with the Kingpins.
Hell yeah.
That's sweet. Marvel, put the cookie on this side of the screen so I can grab it.
Right.
This side. Yes, thank you.
There you go.
All right. So New Comic Book Day, you say, eh?
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into New Comic Book Day and see what we got.
All right.
Who did this slide? Fired.
It's honestly, it's only this one slide that's a little blurry. The rest
Yeah.
are crystal clear. But does anybody want to, talk about this book?
I think you can do
Does
the
anybody
honors.
like Power Rangers?
right.
On this channel?
You twisted my arm. So this is actually part of our honorable mentions. It did not make top 5, to my disappointment this week, but with good reason. So we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh,
TMNT,
smart guy.
number 5. Yes, it did actually. He did make it in the air fryer. But most importantly, we got the first. I think this is the first cover appearance of the Rangers in their Zord form, I guess you could call it, their dinosaur form.
Dino form, yeah.
Dino form, exactly. So you got the A cover,
real Dino Rangers,
right next to us, the Dino Rangers, right?
Yeah.
And you got the cover C and D, I believe that is, at the bottom, which is just beautiful side by side.
Yeah.
But you got to get that helmet cover. If you got any other helmet covers like myself, you got to get it. So I'm going with that helmet cover and those 2 bottom ones for sure.
Yeah, because we've seen the Turtles as the Power Rangers, right? Those new Power Rangers and
yes,
on the covers.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's true. I don't think we've seen the Dino ones, or maybe just one of them, not as a team. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And that 1 in 25 is just it's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is nice.
1 in 25 is the homage to the movie poster, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Oh, okay, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, the cover.
I like the Rangers as dinosaurs, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look dope. I love it.
I like the Turtles. I like the Turtles more.
Nah, man. They just look like the Michelin Man to me.
They do the black.
Very noble.
I mean, the Turtles were cool, but the Power Rangers as dinosaurs. We even had the fucking Dino Rangers and didn't get this. That was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it really was.
That's very fair too. I forgot about that.
Right. So yeah.
Yeah. Damn. All right. Next up, for all you DC fans out there, we got Batman 135. Guys, hit me with it. What's going on in Batman right now?
It's the 900th issue.
Oh, okay. So 900. We're gonna have what?
Well, anniversary.
20 covers for this.
Yeah, there's all that. There's a shit ton of covers for this.
No, well, hold up. You know what? Isn't shit? I think we missed one. Isn't Batman Joker Deadly Duo coming out this week?
Yeah, Deadly. Yeah.
Yeah, that Jock cover.
That Jock cover was a nice one too. Yeah, the smiling one you're talking about.
Yep. I
Yeah.
just remembered that's coming out this week.
God damn, yeah.
Yeah, we should have slapped it on here with this one at least. But that's a great cover.
It is a good cover.
But
John's been killing it on all those covers every week on that series.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The main run of Batman has been pretty good. It kind of feels like a Detective started off good, but it fell off a little bit for me. I'm still on board with the main run of Batman. I don't know. Since the failsafe stuff, it hasn't been, I don't know, I guess as must read. But it's still been solid.
But there's no real like with failsafe you had that plot, right? That it was focused around failsafe and Batman.
Yeah,
and
like everybody was trying to pick up the next issue.
That's right. And now it just feels like after all that hype, it's just stagnant a bit, right? Where it's just you don't know what's the big plot going on.
Well, this might be the issue to find out because it's saying that's wild revelations and a new path for Batman. Yeah.
Well,
What was the new character? What the hell was his name? Red
Mask.
Red Mask. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it wasn't quite as big as the failsafe stuff.
Yeah.
I felt the failsafe it came and went so quickly, and now we're just kind of going back to it every few pages. But I'm still kind of onto it. I'm definitely enjoying it. Those last few pages of what they did to Batman, I wonder how that's going to go forward in main continuity. Dude's looking at us he's like, I don't know what the fuck they did.
Not a clue, man. Not a fucking clue.
Happy for you, or sorry that happened.
Right?
We're gonna get dude reading some Batman.
Yeah.
I thought he was on this, so you know what? I'm surprised, dude.
I read it for a few issues.
You ready for failsafe?
I actually hopped over to Superman.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
And you know what? You better read this before you meet Chip Zdarsky this weekend. So you know what? That's your homework.
Oh yeah, because he might.
I got a couple days. All right.
Yeah.
Deal.
But yeah, the story's been good. End of the arc, and then some new ongoing plot that they're doing. So, I mean, we'll see. The covers a lot of the covers have been really good, actually. I really like that Kill New with Batman and all the Bat Sons and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. That's why I put it up there. Yeah, but there was also Delotto. There was a bunch of covers for this one.
Mm-hmm. Even the art germ. I think the art germ.
The art germ with Catwoman. Yeah.
Chip, what's going on?
Hey. All right. Next up, I believe this is still honorable mentions. Yes, we have Astrobots, and I think the right person to talk about this is actually going to be Pacino, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm just interested in this series. I read out of all the Whatnot books I haven't read yet, but out of the descriptions, let's say this one looks interesting, right? Because I'm a big Gundam fan, anyways, and
I was just gonna say that it gives me Gundam vibes.
Yeah, it does, and even that that second cover looks like a Transformers cover.
It does. It does. Yeah.
That second cover looks very like anime inspired.
Yeah, anime. Yeah, it does. So I'm very excited to actually read this one. So that's why I didn't put I would have made my top 5, but not everyone's. That's why I put it as an honorable mention.
That's fair.
And if you're interested, there was a retailer advance copy that went out for this. I don't know how they decided to give it to LCSs, but those did go around.
Well, some LCSs that I've talked to said that it was actually it was a pretty good read.
Yeah.
Well, listen, this is one of the Whatnots that I was excited for too, because I mean, I guess you guys are getting Gundam vibes, but I'm getting Transformers vibes because I read the solicitation.
Really?
Yeah, the solicitations, is a lot more Transformers.
Yeah. And well, the other thing too is it's Simon Furman is involved in this, and he was one of the guys that was really big with Transformers.
Oh shit. Okay.
So I'm definitely looking for that Transformers vibe and a good story. I don't know. I wonder how they're going to sort of differentiate themselves from like Transformers, Gundam, all the other stuff that is out there. So
that's the fair.
And if you think you're going to read this digitally, guys, you're wrong.
That's my problem.
It won't be on there. None of Whatnot's books are. So you need to go pick this up physically if you want to give it.
I need to go pick up my box so I can start reading these books.
Yeah, I'm going to start Quested here.
And you know what? Astrobots might not be a bad pick because this is actually based on a toy line that already exists. So
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Not bad.
Future value, possibly.
Yeah. All right.
Definitely worth checking
out. 5. Oh, we lost Pacino. I'm sure he'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back in a second.
Top 5. We got starting with Edge of Spider-Verse issue 2. 1 or 2? 1.
1. Edge. Yeah.
Yeah. 2's on FOC. My bad.
That's right.
I'm picking this up, guys. They've never steered me wrong with these Spider-Verse series before. Sometimes they're even, big hitters. And if it's not, guess what? It's still a fun read at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm 100% going with this. I'm not like a big Scotty Young fan. I don't mind it. It's cute. It's funny. But I might actually go with that this time. That one or this. That's the A cover in the center, correct?
No, the A cover's
the dinosaurs.
I think I'm going B cover or Scotty Young then, man.
Yeah, I'm going I only want the A cover.
You disrespect.
You only want A.
You're not gonna pick up fucking what are we calling these guys? Spidersaurus and
Venomsaurus.
Venom Rex, I don't know.
Yeah, no, man, that's just not my cup of tea.
Venomsaurus.
But you know what? Like, it's not a bad play because you can already see since they introduced Spider Rex, he already has like T-shirts and merchandise, and that was the book just before the book came out. So
yeah.
There's merchandise as he should.
the lash is only because it's his first appearance and would be his first cover. I know he's on another cover also with all of them, right? Spider Killer, if I remember.
Probably.
Something like that. Yeah.
I'm still going with the T-Rex. I don't give a shit. It's just cool as hell.
And there's a really nice connecting cover too.
That's the one I'm thinking of. He's on it also.
Oh shit.
Well, and the other thing too is they seem to introduce a villain for every single one of these Spider-Verse events, and they really don't do much afterwards. Like you had, I mean, Moreland, maybe he kind of had a little bit of presence. The Poisons really didn't do a whole lot after you know, Shathra. It hasn't been that long yet, but it doesn't look like she's probably going to be coming back.
They're very contained. The villains are very contained to like their own like timelines or stories, and that's where they stay.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
I just feel like it's just getting to know a bunch of these characters, right? That's what this whole series has always been about, right? So it's very contained, short little stories inside, and hope for the best.
Yeah,
we absolutely do not have enough fucking Spider-Man or Venom variants in the Marvel universe yet.
No, I don't think so. We can always use some more.
Definitely.
Who's this man?
Listen,
I don't think we need more Spider-Verse characters.
You're gonna need a checklist soon to start keeping track of them.
Right.
We're gonna need a Rolodex.
But hey, at least if they're telling good stories, I guess that's all that matters.
Exactly. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. All right. Next up, we have Radiant Black issue 24. But not only that, we get another Blacklight edition. I believe the first and only other time they did it with this series was what?
Number 10.
Number 10.
So it's come back.
Just the Blacklight that's $10, right?
Yeah.
And they never reprint the Blacklight editions.
No.
Until they do, eventually.
I don't know.
until they do it all of them together.
Yeah, it would be some shit like that.
Yeah. Did you get the keychain?
No, I didn't. I heard about the keychain or something. Didn't we talk about that for the last one or whatever?
Yeah, because you know that bundle we were talking about, that there was like a bundle of 10, and we were like, what the hell is that? It was for the keychains, actually.
I didn't order it or anything, but I'll just get it from my shop.
Yeah, it's a Blacklight keychain.
Yeah, I never
think this is going to be huge.
I'm trying to track one of those down.
I think I have one.
Oh, all right.
I can maybe hook you up with another one. We'll have to we'll message him.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, this should be a good issue. Looks like it's gonna kick off the
Massiverse run.
Like the big extraterrestrial war arc sort of with these fucking robots or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, this might tie into the Supermassive, right? 2023. That was on FOC last week.
Definitely good, yeah.
I don't know. I think
where it's heading to, maybe. I don't know.
I think they meant Rogue Sun is actually like almost like the catalyst to a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, because he gets teleported there, right? From what from what you can tell. If you're reading Rogue Sun, you can tell that's where it's sort of going also.
Yeah. But then you got to bring in Dead Lucky and Inferno Girl Red too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see how they bring them all together.
Yeah. Well, last time didn't they just all like show up from some fucking portal and they're like,
they did. Yeah. So it might be totally cut off and just kind of telling their own little Supermassive.
They're all like, hey, I was in the middle of doing something. Where the fuck am I here?
Exactly.
Right.
But I'm excited to see what the story is going.
Yeah, Rogue Sun is the same.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's been a fantastic run so far. So,
and the 110 is.
I just feel like it's slow, right? Like the Radiant.
It really. It's
not even the story has gotten a bit slow, but also like it's. I feel like there's not an issue coming out there very so often anymore.
No, it's every couple of weeks now.
Yeah, like Rogue Sun's at like what now 12? It's halfway through this Radiant Radiant Black series, so
yeah.
True.
All right.
Thank you for that math, Pacino. Thank you.
Let me pick out my abacus.
Next up, we have Misery, #1, right? Yeah.
Cult of Carnage Misery #1. So.
Yeah.
And I think it ties into the Carnage Reigns or whatever, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think even that's out this week, right? Carnage Reigns.
I believe so.
Yeah.
And we're getting a first appearance in this. I think.
Yeah, Liz Allen as Misery, right?
Yeah.
Nice. That'll be dope.
And I think there's another character too.
There is another character, yeah.
Our buddy Lefteros was posted about it earlier. So
yeah. I'm not sure if it was a cameo or if another full appearance.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
The Carnage series has been really good. Same with the Red Goblin series. I think it's by I don't know if it's by the same writer, but I'm kind of enjoying Red Goblin a lot more than Carnage and Venom right now. Actually, to be quite honest, like it's a nice self-contained story. So yeah, to see where it goes. Spinning out of this was quite nice. I mean, did they have to give her a symbiote? Like, no, they didn't. But of course,
no.
Marvel just had to.
Didn't they?
Yeah. Isn't it like the combination of all symbiotes, or is that the other character? That's called Madness or something that they're teasing in this issue.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Because you see, look at her in the last page. She has like all the symbiotes. Like,
kind of.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Can you even exist in the Marvel universe at this point if you don't have a symbiote?
Yeah, if you're a Venom character, it's just like a rite of passage,
Well,
right.
Are you really a character if you don't get your ASM 300 homage?
Actually, I don't know if I've seen that one for this, so we'll see.
No, there isn't one for this. Not yet. Yeah.
Wait, did Hollow's Eve get one? I think so.
Oh, I think it did actually. I think so. Yeah, it did.
Wow.
It's coming.
Wait, they didn't even give Chasm one. I wonder if they did.
I don't know. I don't think they did.
I like Chasm so much I might even buy that shit.
I don't know. I don't know if he did get one or not. I can't remember.
I don't think he did.
Chasm, I don't think he did. No.
Yeah, I don't think I remember seeing one either. To be honest, that's surprising actually.
That's very surprising.
I want to say the Hallows Eve one was like Rian Gonzalez or something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly which one it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right.
New Venom series tie-in. So can't go wrong.
Carnage is killing it right now too. So
Carnage is killing it right now, killing everybody too.
Yeah, seriously.
All right. For all you
another week, another Star Wars book.
Yeah, exactly. We got.
It seems like every week there's a fucking Star Wars book.
Star Wars is fantastic.
Well, because there's so many series, right? How many series do they have going?
Like 6 right now.
Are you counting?
Whenever you add in like the Dark Horse stuff and everything.
Yeah, I'm like counting. Yeah, Dark Horse and everything, right? It's like 10 for sure.
Like 9, 10. Yeah.
It's probably up there.
That's insane. That's insane. How do Star Wars guys buy these books every week?
Is that a Peach Momoko cover on the left?
No, it's
no.
Noto, is that? Yeah, I think that's what it is.
No, Noto's on the right.
On the right, sorry. On the left, it's I forgot. It's
Is that Segovia guy?
Yeah, Segovia. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, it's a nice cover.
How did you get Momoko out of that? Come on, they're not even close.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Honestly, I thought it was a really, really, really good Peach Momoko.
So. Ooh, shade.
Wait,
do we have?
I was gonna say, wow, this is fantastic.
Do we have does that exist? Do we have a clip for like shade or something?
Actually, it does exist.
Sure we do somewhere.
And ironically, Peach's Star Wars covers are fucking fantastic.
Yeah. They're probably some of her better work.
Here. My bad, guys.
Oh no, we suck again.
No, but it is. I like that they cover a lot too.
Yeah, they cover nice.
Yeah.
The Noto's killer though, man.
Yeah, it has that like that poster quality.
He really nailed the faces, like for sure.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I mean that looks like Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, it 100% does.
So, yep.
All right.
First appearance in this one, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Like every other Star Wars.
Baker, you got a point, man. It's true.
Definitely first appearance in this one.
That's fair. Exactly like printing money.
Right?
Easy money.
Can't go wrong.
There's, I think, 2 first appearances, or one's a cameo and the first appearance.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's gonna take off. I don't know if it's gonna take off like last week's the Jedi one, but
shout out Newbie Comics. Pick this up, bro.
Yeah,
y'all people went insane on that shit. Like, holy crap.
Well, these first appearances in Star Wars always seem to at least get you cover price, or at least hit that $8.
Yeah, you see
$10
at some point.
And actually, there's another cover for this. It's an action figure cover that's holographic Darth Maul. So,
oh wow!
Yeah,
it's kind of a neat one to.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's like when he messages, right?
Yeah.
Ah.
So, all right. What we got next? Is that it?
No, I think
everybody's favorite.
Yeah, there we go.
So yeah, we got Spider-Man 8, obviously following the first appearance of Spider-Boy. So we'll get a second appearance here. I have been told that we do get a couple panels with him in it. You get to see him a bit. Yeah, guys, if you missed the boat on number 7, pick number 8 up. I'm sure this will go to a second printing as well. But this should be 100 times easier to find.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone after the first one had this. All stores are picking these up. They're ordering extra copies for sure.
Yeah. So how long is the end of the Spider-Verse going on?
Too long, apparently.
I think I think it's wrapping up soon, actually.
We're also at the edge of the Spider-Verse, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And the end of the Venomverse is coming, right?
The summer of symbiotes, whatever you want to call it.
So we're doing all this all at once.
Yeah.
Weekly.
Yeah. I think I wouldn't be surprised if this comes to an end soon.
All right, so I have a question for you guys. Are we ever going to tell a Spider-Man story that doesn't involve the multiverse again?
No,
absolutely not.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, these stories are interesting and everything like that, and this one's actually been really good so far. But yeah, man, there's just an overabundance of multiverse stories in Spider-Man right now. I feel like they don't need quite as many going on as they have, because I still attach Venom to Spider-Man. I know Venom's kind of broke off into his own thing now, but they're similar enough that I don't know.
Well, they've already announced
One
the
at a time.
3. Like, what the So how is it the edge of Spider-Verse if we're doing it again in less than a year? So
yeah, that's fair. Like, this is basically could have been an Edge series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
So. All right.
But it hasn't been bad, right? It hasn't been bad.
It hasn't been bad.
No, it's been good. It's been a decent read.
Yeah, with Morlem and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad at all. Yeah, without giving spoilers and shit, but it's
definitely
been
better
decent.
than the ASM run. Like,
that's 100%. Definitely better than the ASM run. Until somebody dies.
Well,
only to come back 6 months later. Oh no!
Right.
It was a clone. Oh no! It was a clone.
Well, they released a paper that goes over the spoiler variant, so that when you read the book, you don't actually see the spoiler variant, so you don't get spoiled before reading the issue.
Yeah. I feel like that's not going to help them at all whenever the fucking pictures go on to IG. Yeah.
Definitely not going to help them. It's going to be fucking everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
you're going to see a CBR article show up on your feed. Hey, look, it's surprising you death.
Right. Like, you're not really going to miss it out. But,
well, yeah, look at the Spider-Man 7. Look how fast that image went up, and we all know who put that one up.
Yeah.
All right.
That one's pretty fast.
We actually, guys, have 2 more slides.
We do?
We do have a special guest waiting for us backstage. I say we just bring him on right now, guys.
Let's do it.
Instead of having him wait backstage, hop on and you can look at what's coming up here. So welcome, Dan. Thanks for joining us tonight, man.
Welcome, gentlemen. Always a pleasure to be here. We're just doing last-minute show prep before I get on, so please continue. I'm exhausted, by the way, so you'll forgive me if I stumble over my words tonight.
No worries, man. Do what you got to do.
All right.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, guys, we only have 2 slides. But as well as New Comic Book Day this week, we have Free Comic Book Day coming up this Saturday, May 6th. So make sure you hit up your local comic shops, show some support, pick up some comics. Usually they have deals going on there as well. But we're just going to show you some of the Free Comic Book Day books that are coming out and let you know which ones we're picking up.
Oh, yeah, Free Comic Book Day shit.
Yeah.
Best part, free and comics.
Well,
Can I go fucking wrong?
Exactly. So we got some
They charge
DC.
you for
Yeah, so you get, wow. The most I've seen is 75 cents an issue.
True.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit worse. Not much. I think like $1.
Yeah, that's okay.
But yeah.
Oh, US, that's like $5 for us.
I went to a new an LCS today, and they still had an entire case of the Free Comic Book Day from last year. The one with Spider-Man and Venom, like they're like on the web or whatever. And
That's
ready to give out. I was like, oh shit! I'm like,
well, there was a 1 in 1,000 for that one, right?
No, I think was that not the X-Men one?
No, there was the John Boy.
Oh, was it? Oh yeah,
there was.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. So that's why he has those copies.
Well, what the fuck are fish flies?
I don't know, but it's a new series starting,
Yeah.
and this is where we're getting our preview for it. So
That's
I'm going to definitely pick it up. It's Jeff Lemire, and
okay.
the artwork.
Well, you know this is going to be Leila's first appearance, right?
Exactly.
You don't know that. Stop telling
Well,
me.
I don't know that, but I'm just
It
assuming.
will be. It will be.
Let me ask you guys a question on Free Comic Book Day, because I've had two of my LCSs closed down in the last year or two. So they definitely need our support. Have you guys had that happen in your locations?
Closings?
Yeah, close their doors altogether.
I don't think anyone's closed their doors in my location. And we have a shit ton of shops. I think we have like freaking 10 shops just in the island.
Around here either. We've been pretty lucky.
Okay, good to hear.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Yeah, in my area, there's been like 2 shops that have been pretty consistently open for like fucking forever, like as long as I can remember, probably 20 years at least. But other than that, any other shop that comes in does not seem to stick around very long. So
okay.
I mean, there's been a few that have opened up here or there, but yeah, they haven't really managed.
They got ballsy and they got paid a visit.
I mean, I can't imagine opening a brick and mortar store and the cost of all that. You know, every single month you got to move a lot of product. I do know for the stores I've gone to, the prices are all way down. They've got to move as many as possible. Even the keys and grails are up there significantly down in price.
Oh wow.
Well, they have to, yeah, that's right, because you have an overhead. So you're talking about like at least somewhere between like 3,000 to 5,000, depends the size of your store and stuff, and employees and stuff. And honestly, you gotta move some books, man, just to pay the bills, and then whatever's left goes in your pocket.
Exactly.
But you know what? That doesn't have to be for everybody. You know, like of course, LCSs they don't pay the market value. You know, they probably get
that's right.
They have them forever. So you know, even if they did at 70% of FMV, you know, they've still made money. Like
most of the time, it's 60-40. What I've usually seen the majority of the time is 60-40. So if you're happy at 60, you give that guy, you give him business, and he'll sell it, and he'll try to recoup that extra 40%, right?
Yeah.
All I know is every time I go in, without fail, I always spend way more money than I want to.
Yeah. But
you see those books on the wall, like, oh, I should look at that one. How about that one? And just as you're about to go, damn it, that one might go. Let me take a look at it before you know it. There's that 60, 80 bucks gone. Yeah, and I'm out the door with more than I wanted. But
Exactly.
But that's good problems to have.
And that is specifically the reason for Free Comic Book Day, and
that's right.
We'll spend that money. So.
Well, I know a shop here that what they do is they limit you to like 3 free comic book days, and they bring out some past ones too. They limit you 3, but then they have like dollar bins, $1 or $2 bins, and they'll let you grab 10 free ones out of there instead, so that he can move more of that stock, right? So he can put in more he can replenish the $1 or $2 bins, which is it's fun, right?
Yeah, that's fair. It gives equal chance to everybody to kind of get a free comic book before they sell out, because even though they're free, they do sell out. Like
some one or two every year tend to fly.
Yeah,
pretty
my shop always sells out. So
and something like fish flies, I think your LCS, like if they're not watching like shows or what to order, they're probably gonna see this. They're gonna order 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with Ranger Academy. You guys want?
Same with Rangers Academy. Yeah.
Dude, you saw that shop that I was at. They got healthy stacks. They're ready.
I know.
Anything with like Star Wars or like the X-Men or Venom and ASM, those they'll order a shitload. But like Rangers Academy fish flies, I see very low low orders at shops.
I can of those for sure. I will. I'll get one Star Wars. I'll try to get as many Ranger Academies as I can. Fish flies, I'll probably try to get 2 if I can.
Well, I only put that Star Wars there because it has Avatar on the bottom.
Fair.
Oh.
And then here's our actual top 6 for these again are free comic book day picks. You got your Spider-Man Venom again, nice red cover there. I'll be picking up one of those.
Yeah.
You got your Avengers there with Captain Krakoa. It's Avengers X-Men, isn't it?
Both those should be very easy to find.
Yeah, absolutely. There'll be hundreds. I'm sure there's maybe even an incentive ratio for it. Animal Crossing, that's one definitely I will be picking up just because it's a video game. And
has a very huge cult following, and it's not in the picture, but there's also a Kirby manga that's going to be in there too.
Even better.
Kirby manga.
Yeah, they're doing like a manga for Kirby, so they're really pushing like the US for like I guess more Kirby stuff. Yeah. So there should be a little thing saying like the last like I don't know 5-6 pages. It's like the Kirby manga #1, like some pages from there.
And as Hypercomic Comics said right here, that's right. Street Fighter better be top 6.
I would have that in my. I would have that in my top 3 to pick up actually this week.
That's like the worst Street Fighter cover in history.
Yeah, because half of them are all like nude, the bikini ones.
Listen, it doesn't matter.
No, Baker, I don't think it's Ken, but
no, but I heard it ties into the game, right?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, so if there's if there's an all original character in that game, then you would see first appearance in this.
Is the library even open now?
Books haven't really moved the market though. Like I don't think I've even the like the first comic. Like it's still pretty affordable considering.
Yeah, even like Tekken and stuff. But hey, if it's higher than free, it's better.
75 cents sometimes.
75 cents. Sorry, correct. It's anything higher than 75 cents, you've made money.
One I'm really excited about, and I got to thank Mr. Pacino here for making note of it and letting us know, is Shaman King Flowers. That was a sweet anime back in the day I grew up with. And now we got it in comic book format. So,
well, this is a continuation of that series.
Of the TV series or the manga?
Well, both, right?
Both, yeah.
So it's their kid.
Okay.
And this was released a while ago, like back in like 2000 and something, like 10 or something, but it never really took off. So then it divided it between 2 series. It was like Flowers and something else. So now they decided to bring it back, and I think even the manga is coming out this week also, the #1 of the manga. So
nice. Yeah.
So the free comic book day and the manga are both coming out the same week. So
I
guess it's people to read it before they go, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So you would see the first appearance of like the daughter, right, in this book.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Shaman King hasn't had, unless you count like magazines and stuff. So I don't know if this would also make their first appearance.
It might be. I would say so.
Yeah.
How did DC
and last
not
but
make
not
our
least,
top 6?
What's that face?
I said, how did DC not make our top 6?
It wasn't me, I swear. It wasn't me.
Why.
DC was on the honorable mentions.
Yeah.
In fairness, though, he did leave Ranger Academy on the last page, so.
My disappointment, yes. But finish off free comic book day. We got, I don't know how I'm saying this, Chujin X.
Chujin X, yeah.
Yeah. What is this? I have no idea.
Well, it's It's an anime. The manga's already been going on this one. I think it's like 10 volumes in, and it's like the writers from a very popular anime. So I read it. I read a couple chapters. It's pretty promising. So I would definitely try to scoop this up. And considering I follow a lot of these new these free comic book days, these manga ones are always the ones that usually tend to hit like 10, 20. There's even some that hit $100. So
yeah,
I would definitely try to pick one of these up.
Last year we
talk about it. You know.
Yeah, the One Punch Man's $80 to $100 comic, man. It was a free comic book day.
That shit's like
raw. Exactly. There's not many 9/8s either, so it's definitely worth it.
And even if they
even dumb ones,
stamped as well. So that's like a whole lot of.
Yeah, and then there's even ones from like a couple of years ago, the Zoom one, where it's still hitting like $10-15 on a regular basis. On the cover. And the cover's trash. Like if they would have done the inverse and they would have put Demon Slayer on the cover, that thing would have been easily $80 comic. So these ones tend to hit. So I think it's more because I don't think these free comic books are only in the US, right? I don't think they're international.
No, I don't think so.
What?
In terms of like, let's say Japan won't get this free comic book day.
I'm pretty sure you guys get them, don't you?
Yeah.
Just throw me off there.
North America.
I'm saying overseas.
I think that. Yeah, I think this is a very like North American thing. I don't think they do this in like London and stuff like that, where comics is also popular as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to say, Raging Cajun Comics, thanks for joining tonight. If you guys didn't know, I mentioned earlier I was able to make the show for JD's show this past Sunday. If you aren't subbed up to him or checked him out on IG, go do that right now. Really great guy, and it was just awesome just to get together with him, kind of geek out, show off our collections, and just get to know each other better. So I appreciate that big time. And like I said, man, doors always open. Come hang out with the Kingpins.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's it for New Comic Book Day and Free Comic Book Day. So without further ado, let's do something I missed at the beginning. Much better.
Oh yeah, that thing.
We're going through the pics and like, oh yeah, we got these clips over here. I should probably.
We worked hard on those intros.
Not here. We knew what this was turning into, so.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. So, hey, I say we got Dan here right now. Dan, if you're ready, we'll give you the floor, and you can go at it, man.
Are you guys sure you're ready for this?
I'm excited. I'm
as ready as we'll ever be.
Okay. Well, here, just to prove, let's start here. I'm not a DC hater, as I put in the caption under my name here. I picked my LCS recently. I got this one here. I got it for $45. It's a pretty condition. It really is. I fall in love with the Shazam character. And so I'm buying those books. And by the way, for his historians, he was not originally a DC character. It was Fawcett. There were three big names in the Golden Age, which was DC, Tommy, Marvel, Atlas, or whatever they were, and then Fawcett. This was their best hitter. And I think that when DC started seeing how much money they were making, they sued that character. They sued the company and stole this character away, which is just awful. But anyway, that's a long story. And I just got this too. Same thing, $45. A pretty one, First Power Girl.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
nice.
And to prove I fell in love with the DC Shazam character, I got this recently. Wiz Comics number 106, 1948.
Wow, that's old school.
It is very old school. So much that I bid on two of them. I got them both. Okay, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah, right.
All right. So, guys, I thank you for this format here. I've been really critical of the DC direction. And again, I'm not a DC hater. I grew up loving Flash. Was my first love as a child. But I don't want people to be, if they're speccing on books and the DC movies don't live up to standards, they're going to be wasting a lot of money on this spec.
Oh, for sure.
So I wanted to present my case. And it wasn't just one thing that DC is doing. It's a number of things that have led me up to the judgment that they are going in the wrong direction. So let me set the stage this way. What we're all looking for is what Kevin Feige and the MCU did starting in 2008 that was a very damn talented team to put those movies together, and that's what we were hoping for with DC. And before Zaslav and James Gunn, they sort of stumbled through a number of movies. They were sort of on the right track, but they just couldn't put it together. And we all know that Justice League was the last straw because they rushed that whole movie, they rushed the whole thing, and it all fell apart, which explains why DC is losing so much money. So they bring in this guy named David Zaslav, and Zaslav, if you look at his history versus Kevin Feige, Zaslav is an entertainment guy. He's worked for CBS, he's worked for NBC, but he's never worked on a comic show. I dare to say I don't think he's ever read a comic in his life. But he finds himself in charge of Warner Brothers to get that ship in profitable mode, but he doesn't know how to handle the comic world. So before he brings on James Gunn, he makes a few decisions. Probably the most prominent was when Face, do you have those pictures I send you? Can you put those up? Because I wanted to do a little pictorial to go with the description that would really help if that's possible.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even see them, Dad. I've been on here for a while. So
okay. All right. It's too late to do that now. Well, I'll just do it here so I can remind myself of what I sent you guys. All it was a picture of David Zaslav.
Dan, you could share your screen if you have.
I can't. Not on this iPad. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So anyway, so what happened was when they bring this guy on, his job is to make them profitable, and the first decision he makes is to ace or to nix the Batgirl movie. Now, Batgirl was it would have starred Leslie Grace, who was an up and coming actress, beautiful actress. And think about how he handled this. The movie is literally finished and it's ready to go out to the big screen. My sources, Hudat T, is a very smart man in the community, said they're broke. They don't even have the money to promote their own movies. So what Zaslav does is he says, this movie isn't up to our standards. And so we're just going to scrap the whole thing. In fact, we're going to destroy the entire thing to save taxes. So think about what he's doing here. One, with no background, where does he get off saying he's going to destroy the movie? He's not up to a standard. What standards? He has nothing to base this on because, he's not a comic book guy. Two, if you're Leslie Grace or any star of any movie, and it takes about 2 years from start to finish to a movie. You go to your friends and family and you say, you know what, hey, I won this, I'm going to be the star of this major motion picture, which that would have been her first. And when the movie's finished, the owner of the company says, you know what, it's trash, we're going to get rid of it. Hey, Leslie Grace, we'll have something for you later on. I would basically say, dude, just fuck off.
Yeah,
that's bullshit. Yeah. There's no excuse for that because, again, how would you take it any other way? That your movie, after 2 years of hard work with the actors, the writers, everyone else, it's trash, and we're not even bothered to show it. I think I speak for everyone. I want to see it just for curiosity's sake. So I think
we got Morbius, so how bad can it be?
There you go. I mean, there's been lots of bad movies, both DC and Marvel. Yeah. So again, they had nothing to lose. I would have just sent it out regardless.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So without the experience, he brings this guy, James Gunn. Now, Gunn has had some success with movies. What was it? I had Guardians of the Galaxy, Peacemaker, and Suicide Squad, right? Those are all entertaining movies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The issue is if James Gunn is your focus, is that sort of flavor you want all of DC to go into? Because if you look at James Gunn's history, he is more of a he likes kind of horror and kind of comedic horror, if you will. Yeah. It kind of showed mostly in Suicide Squad, and it does sort of profile in others. But if that's what you want as your main source of entertainment, I don't see that fitting into the DC universe because the DC universe is very similar to the Marvel universe. You want mainstay movies like the Captain America movie, the first Thor movie, the first Iron Man movie, certainly in 2008, which all led to the Avengers movie in 2012. Again, all mainstay. I don't think Gunn is suited for this. Again, he's not a bad writer and producer and all that, but that's not what you want for the main direction of your company. But what really got to me was because look at the movies that we've seen pre-Zaslav. You've seen the Black Adam movie. We saw the Shazam movie just recently, and we're about to see the Flash movie, which looks fantastic. Those are all pre-Zaslav. We're seeing cameos at the end of each movie. You saw James Cavill with Black Adam at the end of that movie. You saw a cameo of Gal Gadot at the end of the Shazam movie, and you're going to see a whole variety of cameos from the previous movies from DC in this Flash movie. It looks absolutely fantastic. What I had said, even when the Justice League movie came out, even though it had a lot of holes in it and it wasn't the best movie, it could still be salvaged. That whole universe could be salvaged. And I think the people pre-Zaslav finally got their act together. And especially when I'd seen that the Black Adam movie. Now, say what you want about Dwayne Johnson, but The Rock nailed that role. It was absolutely perfect. No one else could have done that. And when I saw the movie, I had the same feeling that I had seen with Iron Man and the aforementioned Marvel movies. It felt like DC. This was a DC comic book on the big screen. And then finally with Henry Cavill showing up at the end, looks like they're going to be squaring off with Cavill Superman and Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam. That would have been a dynamite movie. Gunn decides, you know what? We're going to start over again. We're going to scrap everybody. We're getting rid of Henry Cavill. We're getting rid of Gal Gadot. And he says, we want to start fresh and new. I think what he's really saying is this. We can't afford to pay these veteran actors and actresses. So we're starting with younger actresses that are much more affordable because, again, we're totally broke. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any other way to put it. When you have something, when you're finally on the right track, why do you get rid of your star players? It's sort of like we had fell in love with Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. Let's say we get rid of him after the first Avengers movie, and then by the Avengers Endgame, there's another person playing Tony Stark. We might have reluctantly accepted it, but it wouldn't be the same. And it's no different here. Once you establish this sort of foundation, you have to stay with it regardless. And you're going to most likely lose money before you gain money. And I go back, because again, I'm old enough to remember the Silver Age and Bronze Age when I was alive and well and collecting. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and the crew were broke. The 50s almost destroyed all of them with what they had to go through. That's a whole nother story. But they didn't give up quality. They stayed with solid quality. And their quality was so damn good back by the end of the 1960s, they had done something that was absolutely thought impossible. They were beating DC sales. Why? The stories, characters, and the entire storyline was superior. And that's what the pre-Zaslav people were finally onto. Because now we're not going to see a Superman versus Black Adam. Who knows what will be revealed in the Flash movie. Gal Gadot is gone as Wonder Woman. She was fantastic with this. And if you're starting over, I wish them all the best. I'm not wishing them ill will. I'm just thinking the direction they're starting on, they're starting from their knees, if you will. They're not starting from a place of strength. They're starting from, hey, we're desperate to make money. We'll throw something out there. We hope it's going to work, and they'll hope for the best. And let me end it on this. They still don't have a solid Batman character. Right now, there'll be three Batman characters, maybe more, depending after the Flash movie. You had, who's the guy who played the Batman a year or two ago? That actually was not a bad movie. Another pre-Zaslav movie. Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
Okay. It was good. They took it back to the detective side of it, right?
Right, and then they had what's his name from the Justice League movie. I'm drawing a blank on his name. He's the veteran actor that Affleck they're keeping, and then they bring
in again.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought your Comcast was kicking in again. You're kind of freezing up a little bit on us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The audio's there, just the visuals a little delayed.
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
James Gunn isn't on my Comcast. He's got to be interfering with this audio. Don't. So anyway, look, I don't wish the DC universe ill will, but I think what really angers me the most is that with the Black Adam movie especially, they finally had it. And now they're scrapping everything and starting from scratch. And, we waited for years and years and years for this. And again, at the end of that movie, when I saw Cavill walk out as on that cameo, and he's going to score against Dwayne Johnson, who, again, is a dynamite character, completely fits in with the DC storyline, and now it's not going to happen. I don't blame Dwayne Johnson for going above the heads of James Gunn and Zaslav. He should, because he knew he had a winner. He was right. And DC, the suits, again, they're making decisions out of desperation, not out of solid content. And again, I think it's a poor strategy, and it's going to be a losing strategy.
Yeah, no,
I've stunned everyone. Everyone's silent all of a sudden.
No, I just disagree. I think Black Adam was a terrible movie.
How so? How so?
I just felt like we didn't get Black Adam. We got The Rock as Black Adam.
Stace, can you bring everybody else back on so we can all have a chat? Because I'm done with the rant. So, Pacino, I'm sorry. Say that again. What was the downer?
Like it was more The Rock than Black Adam. You know what I mean? It was his persona over the Black Adam persona, kind of a thing.
I saw it as both because, again, he has a powerful personality, and he reminded me of an older actor. He looks a lot like him, Yul Brynner. Yul Brynner had that charisma. He had that confidence. And some people think it's egotism. But again, if you could pull off the movie the way he did, I don't care. That's fine with me. There's some actors that are sort of made for certain roles. I think he was made for that role. But no, was there anything else, Pacino, that you didn't like about it other than Dwayne Johnson himself?
No, basically that was more the gist of it. The compared to the other DC movies we've gotten, it would be on like higher on my list. But I did enjoy that Batman movie though, that with Robert Pattinson. That's more my style of movie.
Let's go around the horn. Marvell, what did you think about it?
For Black Adam?
Yeah.
I did like it. I agree with it felt very much like it was a lot of The Rock, just his that brooding, we're back in like WWE days type of thing. But I didn't mind it. Like it was good, but the plot kind of felt a little short. Like as the story in itself, the characters were good. I mean, Pierce Brosnan was great. I mean,
I did enjoy Pierce Brosnan too.
Like young characters with like Cyclone and Atom Smasher, that's a very typical movie trope with with teenage age characters where they was kind of there, but they did have a little bit of shine, a little bit of chemistry that didn't feel overly forced. So like it was good, but like the plot in itself, it kind of started to fall apart. Like they could utilize both Hawkman and like Dr. Fate a little bit more because like from the rich comic history, there was so much more potential. They kind of just felt like like the fight, there was such a big buildup to the fight, and then it just kind of fills it out so fast that it's like, oh yeah, we need to wrap this up. So that's what I didn't like about it. But I mean, I did enjoy it. Like it had like a little bit of a darker feel for a DC type movie that they've kind of been going with, like with Justice League and stuff like that. I
forgot about that. I wish we got more Hawkman. Hawkman was pretty decent actually in that movie.
Yeah,
he was.
And they had great potential where they could have given him like a backstory because his big thing is being reincarnated. Like there was so much potential, and that's a character they could have redone and given him a different look every single time, like a multiverse type of.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but
and Marvell, you reminded me of something because one of the things that grabbed me was there's more of an appeal for the anti-hero, the Wolverine, the dark Batman. It's more of a kick these guys' ass rather than arrest them and let them face some corrupt judge. And Black Adam certainly was that. And again, that's a winning appeal these days. Yeah. Dude, you're up. What'd you see, man? Because I know you've been a bit critical of my opinions, and we're friends. You say whatever you want. By the way, I know where you live anyway, so just throw it out.
Right? Honestly, though, I'm kind of I didn't mind Black Adam compared to the Batman. Batman sits on a throne and Black Adam sits in the dump, but it wasn't bad per se. I do agree that The Rock kind of made it himself, and it was more just about him, right? But the action sequences were great. It felt like the plot was a little short, like you said, Marva. But all in all, visual effects, the writing could have used a little bit better. It wasn't bad. It was like, I would have given it like 6.5, 7 maybe.
Well, let me counter with this because
Marvel hasn't done anything great too, right? As of new, besides Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Always said Marvel. I thought you said Marvel. I'm like, what the fuck? I made air fryer cookies.
That you didn't send over here.
Let me throw this out though, because again, I've also been critical of an actress named Brie Larson. Knowing what to look for the Captain Marvel character.
That's fair.
She wasn't it. She put herself into it. She was extremely egotistical. That's what it clearly showed on the big screen, and that was confirmed by the reports of the more veteran actors and actresses in Avengers Endgame saying this lady's mouthing off about this and that, and she doesn't have the chops for this. Yeah. And so again, she was totally turned me off. But
she also made it political.
She did make it political, but also if she had nailed the role, if that's what I was looking for the character, I said, okay, fine, this is what it is. The Black Adam character is an egotist. He's all about himself. And again, Dwayne Johnson's perfect for that role because he doesn't really have to act, if you will. And it's not an insult to Dwayne Johnson. He's very confident in himself. I think he's the only one who could have pulled off that role.
Mm-hmm. Baker's got a point.
Michael Baker, I love you, man, but you're easy to please because that rack is not that. I'm sorry, it's a little AB. Come on, man, you expect better of you.
The Rock's rack might be bigger.
Yes, there you go. All right, and we'll all have Bud Lights after the end of the show. Face, your turn. Face, your turn.
Wait, I have two things about Brie Larson. So, like, was the Captain Marvel character written as she is in the current comics? So, like, my history of Captain Marvel would be from Avengers and then the current run that's going on now by Kelly Thompson, where she is very, a little arrogant. She does know she's powerful. So I don't know how she was written, before they made the movie. So like the 2015, like the Kelly Sue DeConnick run, stuff like that. So was that something that they wrote because that is how they wrote the MCU version of Captain Marvel, or is that something that Brie put into herself?
I think that's a very fair question. They probably did the latter, as you suggested. I was looking for the Bronze Copper Age version of that, which is not an arrogant person, more of a team player.
Yeah,
and we didn't get that at all with Brie Larson. Now I'm dying to hear what Face has to say about this because you're the DC expert here.
So I think my biggest problem with Black Adam and the whole movie, honestly, was just skipping over Shazam. I mean, that was the issue for me. They're so interconnected, and the story is just. I mean, you almost have to tell that story with those two characters together at first. Yeah. As far as The Rock and everything, I would say, in fairness to The Rock, you do see a lot of The Rock in Black Adam in the movie, but at the same time, if you look at Iron Man in the MCU, you can clearly see a lot of Robert Downey Jr. there. The difference is, The Rock was a huge name going into Black Adam, whereas Robert Downey Jr., when he took the role of Iron Man, it was sort of like his comeback,
that's true,
revitalizing his career. So, but Robert Downey Jr. just kind of plays himself and exists as Tony Stark. Same thing with like Ryan Reynolds, as Deadpool. I mean,
Deadpool.
There are a lot of these actors that it makes sense to cast them in those roles because they are kind of naturally similar to those characters. So
that's fair.
I didn't hate the movie. I didn't think it was the best that we could have gotten. I definitely think they should have had Shazam in there for sure.
It's like having Venom without Spider-Man, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same thing. Superman can wait till down the road, and that's fine. I do think at some point, you want to see that Superman Shazam or Black Adam,
Tussle.
even throw Shazam in there too.
Yeah.
100%.
Just because it'd be interesting. But you got time.
Let me pause right there. I agree completely. I thought the same thing. Bring the Shazam character or both, because again, if who was the woman that's that brought him? She's the woman behind the scenes. Who's basically confronted Dwayne Johnson, said, you're restrained to right here. You can't leave this island. And then Henry Cavill comes in. I would have brought more than just Superman in. But then again, the question I now pose to all of you is, now that Gunn and Zaslav have made that decision, we'll never see it.
No.
And to me, that is an unforgivable crime because these actors are not getting any younger. They're in their prime right now. You act when they're in their prime. I don't care if you're going to lose money or not. You will make money in the end. Is my here's my thing.
Yeah, but didn't they do the same with the Snyder cut, where we get to see Apocalypse at the end, and we're never going to see where the hell that went?
Well,
either.
that was such a hot mess with the Justice League because again, they started with Snyder. and they had another director, and then in the end, before the movie's finished, they said, "Oh, the hell with it! Let's bring in
the cuts for that he cut out."
No, they brought in what's the guy who I'm drawing a blank on his name? He did the Avengers game. Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon. You know what that's like? Bringing in Joss Whedon at the end. That's like your team goes to the Super Bowl, and you're sort of winning, you're losing, and in the fourth quarter you fire your head coach and bring in a new head coach in the Super Bowl, and you wonder why the game goes to shit because you didn't know what you were doing in the first place.
Yeah.
So again, they had no direction, but they finally, I say they stumbled into it. I think they, like any new movie or any show, usually the first season's crap. Because they need to get used to the writers and the writers need to get used to the actors and so on and so forth. Finally, they start to gel, and I think that's what was happening here. And with this new Flash movie coming up, we're going to see the last remnants of that because it looks dynamite. It looks like they're tying a lot of things together.
Yeah.
But now, Zaslav is not qualified to bring this thing forward. Gunn, maybe, I don't know, but again. He doesn't strike me as someone who's on board with the recent history of the DC movies. Again, I just don't want everyone getting their hopes up and then it's dashed. But it'll take for the next 5 years or so for me to prove myself right. I'm hoping I'm wrong about it. But again, I'm not expecting anything out of it.
Well, they're using the Flash, right? As because let's be honest, Ezra Miller should have been canned a long time ago for all the shit that he did, right? So. I feel like he was so important for this movie to reset the whole timeline of all, let's say, the movies we got beforehand, right?
Yeah.
That's why you see all these Michael Keaton and all these things. So it's pretty much just a reset, and they're going to restart a whole new universe with this Flash movie. I was even making a joke. Imagine the last scene when he does correct the timeline. He walks into a door, and it's not Ezra Miller as the Flash anymore. So they just fire him on the movie that they used him for.
That'd be so funny.
Yeah. And Kang is the one who makes the decision. You're fired.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of that, that's a perfect segue, by the way, because let's talk about that. This is a touchy subject, guys, but it should be mentioned because we're comic, enthusiasts, and we talk to the community. Look what I think, according to what's that? Everything Always, that other channel, they basically are saying that Marvel is going to fire.
The Russo brothers,
Jonathan Majors.
Oh, okay.
Now it hasn't happened yet. This is what bothers me about the court of public opinion. People jump to conclusions. In these sort of situations, you have to let all the facts come out, see where it goes.
Innocent before guilty, right?
Yes, and even with Ezra Miller, who's got a bunch of things that are on him. Some of them are very, very dark. We're talking about stuff with kids and all that. These are the accusations. I hope it's not true. But if it is, if there's some validity to it, DC needed to jump on this immediately, just find out if it is true. Because let's say down the road, and I hope that this doesn't come to pass, these things are true. Because Ezra Miller definitely has a history of violence and anger and all the rest of it, and they turned a blind eye. They sent him out there, and then it's all true. What does that say about Zaslav and Gunn and the whole DC universe right now? I think the public will turn on them, and they should, because again, you've got to keep, in the public eye, you've got to keep, you have to keep your nose clean. That's all there is to it. And I was personally rooting for Ezra Miller. I still am. But if he's, going down the Stark road in real life, he needs to straighten that out and pay for things if he has done anything wrong before he gets back on the big screen. So DC is rolling the dice on this.
Yeah, but that's why I feel like it was so important that they had to stick with him. And then after this movie, I think they're definitely going to can him or whatever. It's not worth the headache, right?
Well, but they should have. Only if he's under contract. I think they went with the Dwayne Johnson Rock movie because of the contract he signed.
Yeah.
So they have to. But also they may keep Ezra Miller. What strikes me about this particular movie, if it's successful, they'll keep him on. Why? Because I'm certain they're paying him a lot less than they would be paying Gal Gadot and Henry Cavill and all the rest of them.
Even Wonder Woman, yeah, exactly.
They're doing this on the cheap, and that's a real risk. You've got to be on top of things. Again, like Stanley and Kirby, it can be done. You could do this on a shoestring budget. Same with Gene Roddenberry from Star Trek in those days. That was an incredibly talented series on a shoestring budget. But that literally changed the science fiction world because, again, the stories were dynamite.
I think that we as comic book fans and comic book related movie fans should probably go ahead and get over this whole stigma with recasting characters and stuff like that, because you know what, to be honest, it's just gonna happen. I mean, at some point it's gonna happen. Otherwise we're gonna have a 47-year-old Miss Marvel. We're gonna have, we're gonna have a 60-year-old Miles at some point.
We'd have like a 200-year-old Batman.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to recast at some point. Marvel is kind of it's interesting how they're doing things, because
multiverse.
With the MCU, the way that it's going so far, they've been able to kind of avoid having to do the recast, because they're sort of telling one long story. But eventually that's gonna come to a point where we're like, okay, Iron Man now. Well, we got Robert Downey Jr., who's pretty much probably for the most part maybe done with the role, or very nearly done with the role at least. So eventually they're not going to either be able to use Iron Man, or they're going to have to recast or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's going to come to that point eventually.
Exactly. You kind of have to get over the point of having to do these resets and variants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at shows like Days of Our Lives and stuff like that. They literally just take a character, just throw them on and they will just make the news. Blah, blah, blah is your new blah, blah, blah character. And people just run with it.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not attached to the actor entirely per se. It's like the character and the story that they're telling that keeps stuff like that going. So yeah, you're going to have to eventually get over it. I mean, yeah, like we did it for Hulk, and we did it for Rhodes and stuff like that. I mean, those are kind of different.
Well, we did it for Spider-Man.
Well, the Hulk characters weren't that great in my opinion, except when they finally got to the guy they have now. I'm drawing a blank at his name. But who was Chadwick Boseman? Face said things happen. Sadly, it's an old adage in entertainment: the show must go on. And it sounds cold and cruel, but that is there's a reason for that. Yeah. And yes, it would hurt a lot of people. People did get attached to that character and that actor. But the smart thing would have been to, everyone would have understood and accepted in time another actor. I mean, not the day after he passes. You wait a year or so, then you slowly introduce the idea. Because without that, now look what they did. They radically changed that direction. Now they're going way off the rails from the Black Panther character, because another thing that they're running a risk on, I'm switching to Marvel now, the farther they get away from the Marvel Silver, Bronze, and Copper Age original storyline, the more they're going off on their own. And that, unless it's a dynamite story, they run a huge risk. And I think that was the greatest thing that plagued Phase 4. They started going in a different direction that had nothing to do with the existing comics. It screwed up spec. Because we were all trying to spec, and all of a sudden you see the movie or the show that comes out on stream, and it's totally different from the comic, and you're wondering, well, shit, I spent all this money on these spec books, and this has nothing to do with what we're seeing on the screen here, and people get burned, and then people start to doubt any spec, and so it just screws up everything. So I'm saying I have more faith in Marvel with Phase 5. But again, as long as they stay with that original storyline, they've got plenty to work with. Zaslav and Gunn need to stay with the original flavor of DC. And again, that's what I got most out of anything from that Black Adam movie. I got the flavor of DC for the first time ever. And I wanted to see more of it. And then the next thing I hear from James Gunn, you're not going to hear any more of it. We're starting over again.
Mm-hmm. But I just feel like just because let's say like it's not comic accurate, it doesn't necessarily make it bad either, right? Because the MCU is its own universe, so they can literally do whatever the fuck they want with it, kind of a thing, right? So I think the same goes for DC. So it doesn't have to be comic accurate to some degree, right? While we all
great, absolutely. I mean, look at Iron Man 1.
As long as they don't change, like for me, the one thing I can't forgive is like power switching, right? If that's his powers, that's his powers. That's something that's like unavoidable, right? But whether they change the character in little ways and little stuff and make it less comic book and more modern time, I'm just okay with seeing it on the screen sometimes.
Perfect example is Iron Man 1 versus Iron Man 3. Iron Man 1 was very much like Tales of Suspense 39, and the Iron Man Origins. It was I knew it when I was watching it unfold. It was an instant classic. When they went to Iron Man 3 and they switched the storyline towards the end towards characters who made no sense whatsoever. I thought that movie was so bad. I saw it once and once only. I will never own it. I will never see it again. If it's on the TV, I'll turn it off, or go, wash my hair or something more important. Newbie, are you watching? I hope Newbie's in the chat right now. By the way, I have to say, I love you, man. If he's there, AOA. Is AOA in the chat? I can't see.
I haven't seen him yet today, honestly.
No, I haven't seen him.
He'll probably catch a replay. He usually catches replays, though.
Okay, so AWOL is your new name. Just no, seriously, because I like AOA. We have fun back and forth with the chat. So it's your guys' show, but I'd love to have him on and hear what his perspective is on this.
Yeah, I'd love to have both of you on at the same time and have a nice discussion, honestly, just to see it from both sides, right?
Okay.
I think that'd be fantastic, and we'll definitely have to work together to make that work.
Well, I thank you guys for this time. I mean, I can stay on, but I'm done with my rant. But I want to say my piece because it's bugged me, and I love this community so much. But I again, it's a major red flag for what I see is going to be a train wreck, down the road. So.
And you're all there for
hop on. Two movies. I think you have to give him a fair shot. I've after watching Guardian and stuff like that, I want to give him a fair shot at least to see what he is capable of. But for everyone to think that everything is going to be James Gunn, he's
not the savior
to be the be all end all, and think that he can't produce duds is just ridiculous.
Yeah. But the Guardians trilogy, if you're thinking about it, in terms of all three movies, it might be one of Marvel's best trilogies in terms of each movie being pretty decent.
I will have an open mind about it. Okay, again, I'm not openly rooting against them. I'd love to see entertainment like you guys, but we'll see if it's greatly successful. In 3 to 4 years, I will come out here on your show with a bag of shame, and I'll admit that I was totally wrong about it.
So. We'll get you a James Gunn cap, and you have to wear it.
Oh, you're just rubbing it in. Oh, man. Oh, sure. Yeah, I love James Gunn t-shirt with it. Yeah.
Speaking of Guardians, though.
We're going streaking! Yeah!
It's time, guys. I think, we've made everybody wait long enough. This is your chance. This is going to be a spoiler zone for the next 20, 25 minutes. As we mentioned earlier, one of us kingpins. I won't mention it until they start mentioning it and stuff. But one of us got to go see the movie at an early screening, and we're gonna spoil it for you guys. At least what we want to tell you. But
what we want to tell you, what the fuck?
Some parts of movies you just gotta wait and go see it for yourself.
No, you know what? We should open up to the chat or the panel and whatever you want to know, just flat out.
You know what? I like that. We won't necessarily tell them a whole movie, but whatever they ask, we can answer or try to.
Hey, real quick, does Nova show up?
Don't do this to me, man. Oh my god. So I am Nova does not show up, guys. I am really upset and saddened by this news. When I found out that Nova didn't show up,
face? That was great.
Honestly, though,
he looks so sad.
Here's why I'm upset, though. James Gunn first mentioned the Nova Corps in Guardians #1, right? We didn't get to hear or see from them in Volume 2, and now Volume 3 being his last Guardians movie he's made and anything for Marvel at this point. It just would have been nice to come full circle, wrap it up in a nice little red bow, and give us a tease of Nova after mentioning the Nova Corps in the first movie. I don't know. It would have been nice.
Well, not even that. Even like a mention, even something in the background kind of a thing, right? Like a logo or flying something, that would have been nice to see. That's fair. Right. But Nova's still far away, right? They haven't mentioned the TV show. They haven't mentioned anything about him. So why would they tease him now when there's nothing planned in the next 3 to 5 years? Mm-hmm. Is it 3 years? Is that
I think it's going to be before Secret Wars. I think.
Okay.
I think they're going to slide that in somewhere.
But it's also kind of like Taika Waititi doing Thor, and we didn't get Beta Ray Bill, and I think wasn't even something. It was something he teased, but then got taken over by somebody else. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, at least we know those characters exist.
Don't ever speak about that movie. It was terrible.
What movie?
Thor.
Which one? Love and Thunder? No.
Yeah, Love and Thunder was honestly one of the worst Marvel movies for me. Hated it.
Yeah, that was a rough watch. I love Ragnarok though. Like that was like perfection.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. But
But he makes a good point. That's exactly right, Marvel. Like, just because they don't tease these guys doesn't mean that they're eventually not coming either, right? But well, we'll definitely see down the road.
Mention it was on his IG already. Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
Marvel, the gig's up, man. Marvel got lucky and got to go see the pre-screening for it, so that must have been fantastic.
Yeah, honestly, you know what? The movie holds up. You know what? It is exactly what you guys want from that you've seen in the first two Guardians movies. It's funny, it's action-packed, it's got like the characters that they feel good. Every character feels as you would want them to.
Apparently, you chop onions in some scenes too.
Oh, I'm telling you.
All right. I see the question up here. We'll bounce back and forth, but I know everybody's asking this question. Who dies, man?
If you want to know, the only character of significance that dies is actually High Evolutionary. No character dies in the movie.
No way.
They give
way.
Every character has a moment where you think, this is it. Total swerve. And
I was thinking Rocket or Drax.
Here's what that tells me. There'll be a Guardians of the Galaxy 4. If the numbers are right, these guys will come back. It'll be a while. Yeah. They're going to give this a rest for a while.
Or a different team name.
Yeah, there'll be a fourth one with different or more teammates.
Yeah, it'll be
or different. I mean, like change the name of the team, right?
Yeah, they definitely gave too much of a swerve. I think, and I remember we talked about this. I think they leaned too heavily into the end of Rocket and the end of Drax and stuff like that, and watching Nebula carrying Quill's body and stuff like that. I think they leaned into that too much. That's why they're setting you up so many times for this, because in myself, when I saw a moment for Quill, I'm like, oh, this is it. I'm like, okay, this is for sure how he's going. And it doesn't. Wow. You know what? It does build up a nice tension, but at the same time, it feels nice that they don't feel the need to kill every character. Every character gets a nice send-off in a way that feels like really organic to like what they've developed into it. So, I mean, I'm happy with it, to be quite honest. Some of the characters, it leaves them a little vagueness of when they can return, but some characters, you just know that that's it for them for the time being.
Okay, let's follow up on Steve Bradley's second part, and I'm very interested in this. Any Galactus Easter eggs or references?
If there was, in all honesty, I didn't catch it. I tried really hard to catch things, but if it was anything, it was like a very
you should have asked for subtitles.
Yeah,
it was like a very like a CDE type of like reference. So like it doesn't really stand out. Like they don't say things like negative zone, and they don't say like Galactus, and they don't say the Herald, stuff like that. So if you're looking to hear stuff like that, you're not going to get it.
Okay.
Even for like High Evolutionary, like a lot of things that are mentioned is stuff like the Anti-Man and Counter Earth, which is a very self-contained into that character. So I tried to pick up on things, but yeah, I didn't hear a whole lot of anything that sets up anything for the future or references to new characters and stuff like that.
All right. Well, I have a question too. Is any of the main characters sticking around for the new team?
Yes. So the first end credit spoiler, you do see the new team, which will be
tell us.
Is led by Rocket.
Okay.
So Rocket.
Yeah, so Rocket makes it. Kraglin, Groot, Warlock, Cosmo.
Cosmo's there, okay.
And the one character to spec on, which has been making the rounds, and I can't guarantee it 100%, but I'm 99.99% sure it is Phyla Vel.
Okay. That's fair though. She's in a lot of the newer Guardians runs also.
Yeah.
And I will say they use the child actor that they use is the one that you see in the trailer that's running around in the hamster wheel.
Okay.
With the High Evolutionary, and I think
the kid.
Yeah.
She's a kid at this time.
With the white hair, so kind of like how we know Phyla coming in from the Captain Marvel comics with very white hair type of thing. I think that they aged her up between when we first see her in the movie to the end credit, and even in itself, there seems to be some sort of like a little bit of a time jump because we see Groot, and now he's got like a huge, like almost like a crown onto him type of thing.
Oh shit! So he's old. So even Groot aged. Okay.
So in that sense, he's aged, and Kraglin is more. He's mastered like the arrow that comes from Yondu and stuff like that.
Oh, sick.
Okay.
Nice.
So the first end credit scene is you're talking about it's like at the time of this movie, and the other one's like in the distant future kind of a thing.
Yeah, like maybe it could even be like 5 months down the road type of thing. But this team has been established.
Okay.
They work well together. They're sure of their powers and stuff like that.
Okay.
But
so Groot he's got bigger. He's sporting wood now.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm here all week.
And
if I didn't catch it, I tried to look at the title credits and I didn't catch it because it was moving too fast. But also, they do call the girl by name, so I need to hear it again on Thursday, which I'm sure everybody else will. But they call her by name, like absolutely for certain. So whatever that is,
you mean like know. by Phyla Vel or by like her actual like I don't know her name back.
I think that like they would call her Phyla or something like that type of thing. And James Gunn, he's been tagging the actress Kai Zen a lot in his post, and he says, I can't wait for you to meet her and I'll introduce her. So this is a character that Gunn is really like as his stand up, like this is his gift towards the MCU and stuff like that. So that's who you're going for. That's who you're seeing. So
I want to know if Cosmo kicked ass in the movie. Were they a big part of it at all?
Cosmo had like one really big scene. It's kind of like an ongoing joke where Kraglin calls Cosmo a bad dog, and that's kind of like the running kind of thing. But you do see Cosmo using their telekinetic powers towards the end type of thing. But yeah, like that's really the main. That's you don't really like Cosmo's more of like a side character type of thing. So it's really heavily focused on the team in itself, and it's very heavily on Rocket. Literally the entire like plot of the movie is that.
Yeah. But we figured that as much, right? After seeing High Evolutionary, so and you're saying that he's leading the new team, right, going forward. So definitely a character building movie for him.
Yeah. So like the whole plot is that when we first see Warlock fighting the Guardians, as we've seen in the trailer and in that clip that got posted by Marvel a few days ago, he comes in, wrecks shit, and then Rocket's like really badly injured, so they have to go to the High Evolutionary's planet to there's like a code inside of his body, so people can't mess around and steal his tech and stuff like that. So that's the big plot of the movie type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I have another question. Is there a dance off?
I won't call it a dance off, but there is dancing. So this is
a dance on. Okay, so dance on. Okay,
it's a dance on. So there you go. Guardians of the Galaxy is a musical. So everybody tell that to everybody and get your laughs in and say it's going to be a shit movie because
it's a musical.
Does it tease another movie or another show coming up?
Yeah. So the second end credit scene is Quill when he leaves the team. He says he's missed too much time on Earth. and all the people that he cares about, he just kind of left them. So he goes back to Earth and he meets his grandfather, who I don't remember it from the first movie, but I definitely saw his grandfather in the first movie. And then there was kind of, he just left him, and then we don't really hear much from him. So he goes back, they have a moment, and we at least know when Quill goes back to Earth is sometime a little bit after the holiday special, because he reads his grandpa reads a newspaper that says Kevin Bacon tells all. So it's at least a little bit after that. They have their moment, and then it does say the legendary Star-Lord will return.
Okay, but we don't know in what form, obviously.
Exactly. Yeah, so at least, Quill has a future for the Guardians. What that could mean, I don't know. But also at the end of the first end credit scene, after the Guardians go into their battle, there's a black screen, which I feel at that moment could have been a moment where they say the Guardians of the Galaxy will return. So I feel like for my screening that they just didn't put it there on purpose, which also doesn't make sense why to show the legendary Star-Lord will return. But I feel like if they were going to announce it, that would be the time to announce it, because with the new team, like we kind of need to know who they are and stuff like that, especially if this is our team going forward, for things like Secret Wars and such.
But that's why I feel like they're gonna rebrand it as a different team, right? Under a different name and start it back at #1 and do another trilogy with another, I don't know, even if it's something like Guardians of Nowhere, let's say, I'm just spitballing ideas here.
Mm-hmm. Which could be as well. I mean, they've also kind of mentioned that, how do you, once the Avengers have disbanded, what do you do? Do you go all new Avengers or
Young Avengers,
type of thing? But you know what? Teams change, so I don't see why we couldn't,
because we don't want to see like Iron Man 18, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would be fine with it being Guardians #4, and it's just a different team that we see. I'd be fine with that. It's very on brand.
And it'd be different because, again, with the first non-James Gunn Guardians, to see what a new director and writers do with this team. Even though they're going to mix and match some of the players, it'll still have a very different flavor.
Well, look now in comics, we get the #1s just because they're changing writer and they restart the whole series from #1. So,
well, I own the first appearance of the original Guardians, which I paid $3.50 for back in 1988 because it wasn't worth much. And none of these are the Guardians of the game. These are not the originals.
Yeah, these are not the originals.
Yeah, they started from scratch.
Actually, speaking of which, though, I mean, we know we got Stallone in this movie, right? Stikar.
All right, Rocco.
Yeah,
say that again, please.
Stallone shows up in this movie as Stikar, right?
So when we saw that in the trailer, and then I guess the new hot book that's making the rounds of like one of the characters, they are very much those like 2-minute appearances in the movie. It's very meaningless. So we do see the Ravengers again, and his suit that he's wearing, I think he was outside of the ship, like he was like in like space, so that's why he's wearing it. But don't expect to see Stallone and the Ravengers doing anything.
So was it almost as bad as Bill Murray showing up in the Ant-Man movie?
Oh, that was horrible.
Like a cameo.
I mean, they are in 2 scenes, so I guess the second scene is kind of good, but don't get your hopes up. Don't invest heavily in all those the original team, because you'll be heavily disappointed. And then even Nathan Fillion's character, I don't know if it was ever linked to anything, but again, people were people are still touting Quasar and stuff like that. There's no Quasar in here, so
it sounds like we pretty much got a mostly self-contained movie with some lead-ins to the next iteration, I guess.
Pretty much. And you know what?
Nothing real huge. Phyla, basically.
Yeah, like aside from Phyla, like it's a very like this is and I guess Adam Warlock. It's very self-contained, and you know what? Like when the scenes when they're on Counter Earth, which I will say the Counter Earth scenes is just that is where the moment kind of just goes a little bit south for me. It's a little too long. It's a little bit too hard to be jokey, and it some of the jokes land, but I'm like, okay, you could have tightened the scene up by like 6-7 minutes.
Damn.
when it kind of went like a little different, just like showing the Counter Earth characters, it just kind of felt like I'm not even watching a Marvel movie. I'm watching a really weird like science fiction movie type of thing. So that's where the movie is a little bit faulted and stuff like that. But overall, like it's still really good though, for sure.
Overall, what would you give it a score out of 10?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to ask.
I give it like a solid like 8.5, 9. It's not.
That's pretty high.
That's a good score, man.
That is a good score.
You know what? I will say, the one score that I will not give to everybody. There's actually two. The BC Boys, No Sleep Till Brooklyn. I am telling you, that is going to be a lot of people's favorite moment in the movie, and probably like a top MCU moment. Like that was really well done.
Nice.
And then there's one other interaction between characters, and it's going to, it got a really good reception for sure.
From what you're describing, though, the one disappointment I've had with not just this movie, a lot of movies, and again, I haven't seen it yet. Obviously, I'm just going on what you're saying. Marvel has such a rich history, and there are literally hundreds or thousands of characters they could bring in, even for a short time, which would mean a lot to me. Because again, I like the character from Bill Murray. When he was introduced, I knew who that was immediately, because that was from Hulk 156, something I'd read as a boy. And that was just one of thousands of characters that could come in and sort of make it more colorful and a little more, how do you put it, a little more flavor, because there's a lot of flavor in Marvel. So, and when I mention that because at the end of each of these movies, I look towards the end credits for a number of things, including, are there any people from the Bronze and Copper Age, still even Silver Age, that are still alive and advise these movies? I'm looking for Roy Thomas, Steve Englehart, and Sal Buscema, among others. And if they're involved in the movie, usually it's pretty damn good, because they were alive and well with Stan Lee, remembered the Stan Lee, Jack Kirby flavor, and they put their own, input into it. And when these names are not there, the movie's kind of lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
No,
which agreed. You know what? It would be so great for Marvel to, and which I mean, they kind of do. Like even when we see, like the Ravengers and like the original team of the Guardians, and Stallone wearing like the suit, like that bug-looking suit. You know what? It is a nice throwback and stuff like that. But I just don't think Marvel just. It's almost, and which is weird. It's a very much disrespect to their own characters that they have in their history and stuff like that.
Like Charlie 27, he's the big burly fellow who was one of the original Guardians, and I mean there would have been plenty of opportunities to bring that character in, among others. Like I say, you have to know who they are and where you can interject them at.
Yeah. Well, they did have him as one of the Ravagers. I mean,
I just don't think they have any plans for stuff like that. They're too busy looking down the road with their 8-year plan, whatever. And if it doesn't really tie in, it's just a nostalgic shot, right? Where it's like, here it is. Let me take it away for you now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Actually, I was going to ask something else though, Marvel, real quick. If any of the other Ravagers showed up besides Stakar, since we were.
Just the ones that we've kind of seen in, like in the second one, whenever they kind of showed up. If they did, they didn't really like stand out. Like they're very like in the one initial scene when we see them, and then at the end type of thing. So I mean, if they are there, I didn't really recognize them, and they play no major significance to really drive it forward. Like it'd be a very like Easter eggy type of they have that character in.
Right.
Okay.
So huge credit to Marvel for a great report and great memory from just seeing the movie once.
Yeah,
definitely. Right.
That's what you think.
Maybe
he filmed it.
I actually audio recorded it. I've listened to it ever since Friday.
This is a good one, real quick from Steve. Is Man-Beast in there anywhere? Does he show up?
I mean, again, if he showed up, he didn't really stand out. It didn't feel like if they showed any character that it felt like it was, like a callback to a character like Man-Beast, fighting on, high evolutionary spaceship type of thing. It just felt like they, like Gunn, had, I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen the photo of Nathan Fillion, like in his suit type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
who's he calling? Mr. Fucking Potato Head or some shit?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like, like him and like other characters are dressed like that. So you know what, that would have been, you know, a great time for them to use characters like, you know, Man Beast and stuff like that to fight the Guardians, because he is in it for like a significant time for like of the scene of what they're trying to do like within the scene. But I mean, they went off the rails and they invented these little potato men instead.
Such a good actor to just throw in such random fucking parts in these movies.
Yeah.
But
which seems like a disappointment. And even I know I'm pretty sure it's his wife. You see her and she's like a receptionist. And I'm like, you know what? For someone who cast, you know, his friends and family and, you know, his past coworkers into it, you think they would give them more of a significance and stuff like that. But he does very throwaway characters, which is kind of a disappointment.
Well, that also might be Marvel, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who will want to keep? I mean, I guess they let James keep things like a little bit in house. Like he's like, okay, like I want my wife to be in this. Like, okay, well she can't do anything significant.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. But like you said, it would have been nice to have some like even for Marvel, it's a home run, right? If they introduce some of these like older characters, even as an Easter egg, and then people, I don't know, relate to these characters and they end up going to buy those older comics too, right?
Exactly.
Or reading those older stories instead of the newer stories.
It helps unify the old with the new.
That's right. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's what they need a lot more, is that we're kind of diverging. They have their line now that, you know what, they really nailed it with Guardians. Like that was a team that nobody knew about. Even myself, whenever I first saw the first trailer, I'm like, this movie is going to flop. I'm like, because in comparison, it came out around the time of Avengers and stuff like that. So I'm like, well, you have a great movie like Avengers where we know these characters compared to Guardians. I'm like, this is going to be a one and done, and then they're just going to forget that they ever did this because it was such a horrible investment. But like, it worked.
Apparently not.
Well,
Guardians was the top 3, I think, besides the Avengers movies, because I find those you can put those in the list because they're too damn good. But Guardians 1 is a very good movie. I have it in my top 3.
They're definitely up there,
Well, back in the day, the original Guardians wasn't a thing. They were just barely a third-rate team.
Yeah,
they were barely mentioned. You got a couple of appearances, and I think one of the Defenders. I think they made the Avengers once. And again, when I first heard they're going Guardians, I thought, what's the point?
Yeah. Me too. I didn't know much about this team either before seeing that movie, right? And honestly, I was very, very surprised.
Mm-hmm.
It was also well written. I have to give it to that. It was very well written. It was a good balance of comedy and action. That first movie.
Oh, James Gunn, look, he has talent. There's no question. The cannot be taken away from him. And I wish him all the success. And again, I'm going back to my original rant. I just hope. Again, I love the DC universe just like I love the Marvel universe. I hope it didn't screw it up.
And this is another fair point because I have Winter Soldier as my favorite MCU movie, besides the Avengers movies, obviously. And it came out the same year as Guardians.
That's a good year.
That's a very good year. But I was surprised. Like usually when you hit one home run like that, you tend to be like, okay, the next 3 or 4 are going to be a bit lackluster, right? So
my 2 favorites are Iron Man 1 in 2008, which was an instant classic. And then it led up to Avengers in 2012. And think about the pressure they built up to. That movie could have bombed, but they absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
And that launched, phase 2 and 3, which were damn successful.
That's why I don't put the Avengers on my list, because it's like there's like all kinds of heroes in there, so it's kind of unfair to put it up against
bigger budgets.
Against bigger budget too, right? Against like the movie I just talked about now, Winter Soldier, right? Where there's not even a real villain in that movie, and it's still great.
Mm-hmm.
Who did we get? Crossbones? Okay.
Yeah. Right. But you know what? I will say, after watching it, I think I might put Guardians, in my top 3. Every single movie.
Top 3.
Wow. Sorry. The trilogy is probably
the
one
trilogy.
Of my...
the trilogy is very good. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? The quality is consistent, and you know what? Even for the little faults, like how too long the interactions with the characters on Counter Earth is. You know what? Everything else holds up to it. It's still a funny movie. The characters are great. it's a good movie. You guys will be really entertained.
Besides the Avengers trilogies or whatever.
Thursday I'm going, so
yeah, I mean,
Thursday.
Avengers was hard to put into it, and you know what? And even for Captain America, like, damn, I don't know. Civil War is a great movie. Like that.
I have Captain America as the best trilogy in Marvel right now.
That might your opinion might change on Thursday.
On this one, that's okay. Okay. That's fair.
Right.
If you like the Guardians,
real quick before,
I like Guardians 1, and Guardians 2 was not so great for me.
Yeah, the soundtrack is also phenomenal as well.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's always fire, their soundtrack.
But yeah, one of the biggest takeaways would be.
Continue. Go ahead, Marvel. My bad.
Any scene with Rocket interacting with animals, get your damn tissues ready, because holy shit. I just stuck a cry during a Marvel movie. And I did see somebody ask about it before, about Warlock. I thought Warlock actually wasn't bad. I know one of the initial reports said, he's very much like a child. You know what? It almost makes sense because he's so powerful. Like, the scene of him fighting the Guardians, like with Nebula, like every scene with him early on in the movie is raw power. Like,
and they did that again, by the way. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marvel.
Yeah, like his power set is just it's too almost over-contained that like what else could they really do with him? So they had to find a way to kind of nerf him. So he's a child in the sense that he's very socially awkward. Like he doesn't know like social cues and stuff like that. So that would be him as a child. But when you see him at the end of the movie, there's a little bit of maturity that he's gained, just from, actually interacting with people rather than being in his cocoon and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with Warlock, once he gets an understanding of his power and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, real quick before we get out of here, we've got one more thing we're going to do.
I love this segment.
Yeah, and we got a good one that's appropriate for today. So let's go ahead.
Ooh.
Right up there.
There
we go, guys. We've got Thor 165 in a CGC 6.0 going up against Marvel Superheroes
18.
18? Yeah, in a CGC 7.0. And both are selling for approximately $14.50 Canadian, probably about, I don't know, $12.50 US, something like that.
450 Canadian.
Oh, 450.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. I guess I'll go first and let's go down from here. I know my opinion doesn't matter because I always go against the grain from everyone else. But, man, I think I'm doing it again here. I don't really give a shit about Warlock or him per se. That's just me. I haven't read any of his storylines.
Who this man?
Yeah, you know what, Dan? I'll do it.
Move this man!
There we go. But that's just me. I'm sure it would change if I did a little bit more reading. You guys, we've been talking about Guardians for the better half of an hour now, and it's been fantastic. Like Marvel said, nobody really knew or cared about the Guardians team before they came to the MCU, and that just changed the whole ball game. Yes, this may not be the first appearance of the Guardians we know, but it is the first appearance of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And we still got Yondu there, Yondu's dope character. I'm going with Marvel Superheroes 18.
All right.
It's my turn.
Marvel, where are you at?
You know what? I hate the cover for Thor 165 and his whole damn origin is just kind of so weird and convoluted that it's hard to really spec on a book. I guess if you're going to have to go with one, I guess it would be this one. But on the other hand, I really like the Marvel Superheroes 18. I like the idea of the team because you know what? The team can always change, but this was their first iteration. And to get in a higher grade and being an older book.
Yeah.
But I think I would have to go with with the Thor book. I'm FOMOing hard on Warlock. I really like the character. I really can't wait to see what they do with him.
Damn. Okay.
That's a fair take. Honestly, I would have to go with the Thor also. I know the Guardians book, you get 4 first appearances, and I guess a team appearance if you want to call it that also.
Yeah.
But it's not the Guardians team we know about, right? So if you would take one of the besides Yondu, right?
Yeah.
Would anyone know any of those other 3 characters if you didn't grow up reading this, let's say? So there's also controversy with the Thor book, right? Which is it like, what are you going after, the first Adam Warlock, or are you going after the first him?
Yeah.
So I would definitely go with the Thor just because it's still associated with Adam Warlock, even though it's him. Mm-hmm. And I would always go for and there's a lot more potential I see with Adam Warlock going forward, right? Because he can tie in with the Celestials and a bunch of other stuff going forward. So I could see him gaining a bit more traction than the superhero. So in terms of value wise, I would go with the Thor, and in terms of what I would personally get, it would be the Thor also.
All right, Dan, which one?
I'm kind of the perfect person to ask because I literally own a Marvel Superheroes 18 in a 7.0. I am so tempted to trade that for the Thor book, but to Partino's point, think about another book, and they started a new team called the Champions, and it's completely different from the original Champions from the mid-'70s, which is Hercules, Ghost Rider, Iceman, Angel, and Black Widow.
Yeah,
but if that, I don't know if there's any talk of them becoming a movie or a show. That original one might finally kick in, because as you guys point out, that's not the Guardians is not the original ones at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I would probably, just because I'm sentimental, I would reluctantly stay with what I've got here and not trade the Guardians. I'd keep it.
Woohoo!
Comes down to face.
I'm not the only one this time.
Comes down to face.
Well, personally, I love the Guardians of the Galaxy as a team. I always have. I actually did know who the Guardians of the Galaxy were before the first movie, and wondered, because like the first movie threw me off because I was like, this isn't the Guardians of the Galaxy at all. But okay, because this is the more familiar team to me
that you were aware of. Okay,
as far as Warlock, I love Warlock as a character and everything like that. But personally, I would want to go after the Fantastic Four.
The Cocoon book?
Yeah, the Cocoon issue. That would be the one for me. So just because of which Warlock this is in particular, I would actually lean towards the Marvel superheroes. So
that's fair. That's a fair point.
I actually like the Thor cover in the sense of Thor looks like he is super pissed off.
I like the cover better than the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, the large hammer ready to just kick ass because he's got Sith in one arm. So and it's a black cover too.
It's got his name on it. Like it is a better cover, but overall it's not a great cover.
Yeah.
There's also,
and by the way,
Guardians isn't either. But
and by the way, since I own the Guardians 18 Superheroes 18. There's also a reprint for a scarce book called All Winners number 21. That's the first appearance of the second appearance of the All Winners squad, which is a book I've never owned. I almost got my hands on it, and that has what could be the very first Kang variant, because it's a time traveler from 1946, and he's like from a millionth century, whatever. And if they ever tied that character together. That scarce book, All Winners 21, would be worth millions.
Right?
Sure.
Because there's only literally 100 that exist.
Wow. Yeah, that'd definitely make it a rare book for sure at that point. Damn.
All right, guys. Well,
that's
what
it,
we got for tonight. Got to share the spoilers with you from Guardians of the Galaxy. A little Tradecentre, new comic book day. The usual. What do we got coming up, dude?
Coming up this week, we got the Hall Show this Thursday, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, I'm only going to talk it up because he's been talking it up to me for the last week, and he won't tell me what books he's got. But we got K-Man hopping on the show with us this week, and Man's been dropping some dollars on some big books. So he says, they're Grail size for him. And I asked if they were Moon Knight related. He said yes, they may be. So now he's got me curious, only because he's got everything Moon Knight already. So what more could he be missing or wanting? We'll find out Thursday, so I'm pretty pumped about that. I got a haul coming in right now, which should be here tomorrow or hopefully, before Thursday. So we'll be showing that off. And if anybody else here, who's watching the show wants to hop on the show, hit us up. We'll also drop the link in the live chat, and you can just hop on and hang out if you want. Other than that, we'll be back at Royally Fucked on Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, as we go over your preview orders and tell you guys what we're picking up, what we're not picking up, and just, what to keep your eye out for. And then back here Monday, as per usual, with Previously On, 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. Eastern.
Also, I think the IG's post for retrospect is going up tomorrow.
Yes.
So you guys can go vote on that.
Yep.
Exactly. Pick your years and let us know, what kind of years you want to see up there. And, Baker kills it every time. He even gives us the books for the years.
I know, right?
I'd do that too.
Right?
Hopefully comic years. Don't do like year 2.
Yeah.
right. All right, Dan, tell them where they can find you.
Well, you know what? Speaking of Royally Fucked, you guys got screwed over twice on The Hunt. And as The Hunt's official lawyer, I want to welcome you guys back because, come on, man, you got screwed over 2 times. You guys are due for a win. And so we'll talk about this off air. But I think I'll be on The Hunt. I haven't been called by Tony. You never know what's going to happen. So The Hunt this Friday. Right. And then Spine Ticks on Saturday. That's always a fun show. That's where everybody gets to let loose. And I loosen up because, it's after a long week. I have several glasses of wine and I say what I want. So it's a lot of fun on that show. And I love you guys. Thanks for having this open door format. And before I go, I haven't forgotten about the 2 winners that we have, 2 $50 gift cards. I got one of the names from Face. We're still waiting for the other one, so I need to get that other person. If you're in the chat, please hit up Face or somebody here so I can send that off. I'd like to send that off either later this week or next week for that $50 giveaway. And trust me, my friends, there will be more.
Yes, sir. And I'll actually go back to the video then for you, Dan. So we'll get that worked out. So, all right, guys. Well, that's the show we got for tonight. We appreciate you joining us. We don't have Hyper here sending us out from the library or Popeyes or wherever he may be tonight. So we're just going to.
But you don't need a library this week. Go get your free comic book, Dave.
I was just going to say,
there you go. There's the perfect
answer. Everybody's feeling like this. That's me on Free Comic Book.
Yeah.
Go get them books, guys.
I'll be there, but I'll be wearing a shirt because I'll be frightening the crowd if I'm there with no shirt.
Hey, it shortens the line, Dan.
That's true. That's true.
All right, guys. Later.
Peace.